In the previous chapter of the tutorial, we laid out a user interface that allows a user to choose their height in centimetres, although we originally wanted metres, and to choose their weight in kilograms. I can see that although I have 70 in here, I'm not clear what my scale is here. So I should probably take this track bar and go and check what my options are. I've said I should have a value of 30, or it was set to 30 when I set the minimum to 30, but we said we should have a value of 70. So I should go down here really and change value to reflect what's in our text box. If the user sees something on screen that doesn't match up, if this number here and this track bar don't make sense, then it causes confusion. So always try and have your program start with useful values. If I go to the internet to find out about BMI, I've gone to the NHS website here, so that's a good trustworthy site, and it tells me that BMI is calculated by dividing weight in kilograms by height in meters squared. And this is one of the reasons we wanted to collect meters instead of centimeters. And once we have that, then we have a scale that decides whether you are healthy weight, underweight, overweight, or possibly obese. So I'm going to go back to my user interface here. And when I click to get the BMI, I need to perform that calculation. So I'm going to, the default action of a button is to receive a click. So if I double click on this, you can see that that widget, button calc BMI, has come up with a click handler. So that is the code that will run if you click that button. So notice that a track bar, the default action for that is to drag the thumb along. So it has a scroll handler that has been generated when we double clicked in the form. Anyway, back to our button then. When we click the button, we need to do a calculation. So the first thing I'm going to do is lay out some space in RAM to hold information and hold answers. So I'm going to say that I want dim height meters, and that's going to be, I'm going to just declare it as a single value. Single means single precision, so it's a decimal, it can hold a reasonable number of values, not quite as accurate as a double though. I'm also going to say dim BMI calculation, and that can also be a single. And then I'm going to actually work with the information that I've got. So height meters can be calculated by taking the text box meters, or the text box height, and dividing it by 100. Now if I try to do that, it's not happy about it. It doesn't know how to divide a text box by 100. It's not the box I'm going to divide, it's what's in the box. So I really need text box height dot text. And now it is happier to do that. It will take what's in that box and divide by 100. Even though that's a word, it can then figure out what it means and then divide it by 100. To be able to do my BMI calculation, so BMI calculation, and I see that I've spelled it wrong here, so I'm just going to change that first of all. Calculation. It wouldn't have made any difference to the code, but it just looks nicer if it's easy to read. BMI calculation, they said it was your weight divided by your height in meters squared. So that is going to be the text box weight dot text. So again, we have to get the information out of the box. And then we're going to divide it by the height in meters squared. So we could say height in meters times height in meters, or I can use this little hat symbol here, shifted number 6, to give me to the power 2. So I've squared it there by raising it to the power 2. And I'm going to take that answer and I'm going to say label BMI dot text is going to be equal to that value. So BMI calculation, and it's probably going to be okay with that. If I start up my code, see what we get. If I was 160 centimeters tall and weighed 70 kilograms, then I would have a BMI of 27.34375. This is a little bit clumsy, this extra decimal information here. So what I'm going to do is make a bit of an improvement. I'm going to say, take my BMI calculation, multiply it by 10, and then take all of that and turn it into a whole number. So I'm going to say int. Int turns it into an integer. Once I've done that, it's 10 times as big as it was. I can then divide it by 10 again, and that should give me 1 decimal place. So I click on Start. I click to get my BMI, and I've got 1 decimal place now, which is much more useful for the end user. So that's obviously working and giving us a number, but it's not much use to the user. They don't know what it means. It's just some random number as far as they're concerned. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back to my form, and I'm going to add in another text box. I'm going to put a text box here. Now, when I drag it down and try to fill that space, it will snap up to a single line. But if I pop this out, I've got the option of making it a multi-line text box so that I can put several pieces of text in the one box. Always remember straight away to go and give your widgets a name. So I should click on the text box, change it to text box result, and I can go down to its text and I can say in here no result yet, and I think if I press enter that'll just go in there. But if I click here and click into the bigger box, I can then give some more instructions, and I can say no result yet, fill your details, then click the button. And I think if I do control enter, that will then close that down. Okay, and I can do text align, maybe center, to make that look a bit better. Okay, so back to my code then. Once I have done that calculation and I've got a number, it's quite an accurate number, I'm then going to turn it into some sort of recommendation based on these ideas here. Now, I've got some values that I need to be working with. There's more than one option, so a select case is the best way to tackle this, rather than if then else's. So I'm going to say select case, and then I'm going to say BMI calculation. Whatever that number is, I'm going to go and swap to different versions. And when I pressed enter there, it's given me my first case ready to accept information. There is something in Visual Basic, or at least there has been, is case is less than 18. And if that's the case, then text box result dot text is going to be equal to you are underweight. And then I'm going to try another cases. Cases bigger than 18. And I'm going to say, in fact, I could probably just copy and paste this now. So if it's bigger than 18, it's a normal BMI. You have a normal BMI. Text box cases greater than 25 is going to have result you are overweight. and case is bigger than 30, you are possibly obese. And I'll just remove that last bit there. So I've used select case. I've got my end select down here. And that should take care of all the possibilities. I click on start. I click get your BMI. 27.3. Is that normal? No, it's not. Bigger than 25 should have said you are overweight. And the problem is that the way I've tried to do my code there, I haven't really broken things into proper bands. So you can see I've got less than 18, and then I've got everything else is over 18, so that deals with them. What I need to do is to add in some Boolean expressions. So here, I've got to say case is over 18 and is less than 25. Case is bigger than 25 and is... Now you can see that it's saying is accessible. Didn't really like what I was trying to do there. What I have to do is I have to fully qualify it and say case BMI calculation is bigger than 25 and BMI calculation is less than 30. Case BMI calculation is bigger than 18 and BMI calculation is less than 25. And then the final is bigger than 30, the starting is less than 18, probably will work for us fine. Try it again. Click on get your BMI. And it's got no results yet. So it is not working. And so there's one last tweak that I need to do to this. Here I'm asking two questions at the same time. So actually what I want to do is go and select case true. Which of these sets of statements is true? Case BMI calculation is less than 18. Is that true? BMI calculation is bigger than 18 and less than 25. Is that true? And then finally, BMI calculation, is that bigger than 30? Is that true? So instead of selecting case based on a number, I'm now basing it on which of these sets of answers is holding up. Click to get my BMI. You are overweight. That is kind of what we're expecting. If I was a lot heavier, if I was 170 kilograms, then you're obese. If I was only 50 kilograms, then you have a normal at 19.5, that's above 18, that's fine. If I was only 40 kilograms, we would expect to be underweight. So some last tidying up of this we're going to do now. If I go and have a look on the internet, I can find maybe some images, and I've saved one of these locally. So I'm now going to go into my form and I'm going to create, I'll just stop that just now. So I'm going to put on here a picture box. So my picture box I will drag and stick here. I've got a little pop out here that can help me to load that in. So I'm going to go to choose image. I want to do a local resource and import that. I've put it in my pictures file. So if I scroll down here, here's BMI picture here. And that's okay. And then size mode, I want to just auto size that, or perhaps I want to stretch image so that it fits properly. And the last thing I would just want to do here is to make sure that these text boxes are disabled.